Hello my lovelies and welcome to my channel WYRD is the New Black. My name is Kat and this is another pick a card reading for you. It's entitled What's Happening Behind the Scenes, what's going on behind the scenes that you can't see, that you're not sure about. Where is this person at? What are they doing? What sort of energy are they in? That sort of thing. It's quite broad, this one. But I'm saying, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, what is going on here? So as ever, gravitate towards your particular pile and give it a moment. Be drawn to that pile and I will see you on the other side. Well, hi there to those that chose stack 1 and wow. I am actually somewhat concerned about the scenario that is coming through here from Spirit, because this is a really conflicted space. So whatever's happening behind the scenes, behind closed doors here, I mean, look at this house. It's a gated property. We've got this strong gated property. It feels quite sort of gothic and creepy anyway, this house, at the best of times, I think. But I feel like the presentation here is that everything's sweet, or that everything's fine, or that it's inviting, potentially, or the situation that your person in, they're open. It seems like, they're open or well respected or clever or even religious here as well. Even though it says dictionary and communication, I am picking up kind of a, sacred or spiritual texts kind of energetic with this for some of these people. And we've got Father, although it popped out in the reverse. And it says talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And I think that actually that's the presentation here. And either your person is involved with somebody who's presenting themselves to be sweet, or this is your person, and I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned either for this person or about this person. Because it says in the shadow attributes, which is the way it popped out, dictatorial control and abuse of authority. And it says Father as well, which is give me like priestly vibes as well here. But again, not for all of them. And maybe you're inquiring about somebody who is a father, and they don't even have to be a masculine. So, if you're inquiring about a feminine, that's completely fine as well. It's just that this person is in very negative masculine energy, and that abuse, I feel like this person could well be abusive, or they're dealing with somebody like this. Here we've got down here, if you can't drive your car, park it. Then it takes 2 blows to make a battle, and there's a boxing glove in this card. And then from a totally different deck, Combat Arena, which shows a boxing ring. And this is strong physical energy for me. Strong physical energy. And I feel like either your person or somebody near to your person is frankly scared, or it feels like walking on eggshells is what I want to say about this frequency. The staff up here is all about foundations. It's all about support and feeling a lack of support, or not getting support, or hitting rock bottom. I think there's a phrase in the book says, when you hit rock bottom, you're at least on solid foundations. You're on solid foundations from which to build up again. And I feel like this is like a really, this situation frankly scares me. And if in any way you're concerned about the well-being, the physical well-being of somebody here, then maybe you should consider getting information or speaking to somebody who may be able to intervene or help, because I feel like there could be physical abuse. It doesn't have to be. It could be mental abuse with this dictionary energy, or with the whip from the Lenormand, the very worst possibility could be sexual abuse. At the very least, this is a conflict zone. I mean, this is a battleground. But it feels to me that one party is the provocateur of this energy and is the abusive person in this space. And you know your person, so that's either your person, and if so, you know, I'd stay well clear of this person because they are frankly edging on dangerous. If not, you might already know this. Or it's somebody that they're dealing with, and in which case I'd be very concerned about your person's mental, emotional and physical well-being in this scenario. It does feel like there's somebody here, again, very sidelined energy, which again could be your person. If you can't drive your car, park it. Somebody I feel feels that they can't go somewhere, or they can't, I mean, this may be like physically controlled is what I want to say here, but again, you must take what resonates, and it does not have to be the case. Just going to notch up my brightness, a bit dark. Okay, hope that helps. Sometimes it's hard to tell because when you upload the videos, they can look really different. So yeah, I feel like somebody is being exploited here, and I feel like this person feels contained and feels resigned. At the very least, if they're not sort of feeling physically contained, they're feeling really resigned, and they feel like there's nothing they can do with somebody else or with a conflicted energy nearby, or you know, they're being steamrolled is what I'm getting. I feel like this person's actually very kind and is being exploited for that. I feel that somebody nearby actually reacts very aggressively to kindness. This is the whip from the Lenormand and the flowers. And the whip, for me, it can be it's a passionate energy, but it's a conflict energy, like predominantly. And, you know, along with like two cards indicating significant conflict, lack of support, and another card here saying dictatorial control, abuse of authority, I really feel like somebody is in a really bullied position in this particular reading. And it does make me concerned for this person's welfare. I feel like maybe they're trying to make gestures to reconcile here. But it feels like it's like a whitewash or an overlay or a glossing over. I mean, some of these people might actually be hiding injury. I'm just seeing like bruises being covered up and stuff. This is extreme energy, so I completely understand if this reading would not relate. But I would be, at the very least, there is significant fighting, or and it's all behind closed doors with the house. Now the house for me, I mean, this is the Kipper deck, but in the Lenormand, the house always represents for me family home. So this could be a family member, it could very much be a father. It doesn't have to be, does not have to be, but it could be a family member. It could be somebody, a relative, or somebody that they live with, or, you know, are close in a community with, but this person is nearby to this like, I feel like there's two people here. I feel like there's two people, and this abusive energy is nearby or monopolizing or very controlling is what I'm getting. Extremely controlling of somebody else's movement or expression, and it could just be to do with the fact that the person that they're trying to control is attractive or inviting or kind, or kind or talented. And I get some creative talent here as well. But I do feel like somebody reacts, or maybe they think that this person's flirtatious or is too appealing to be seen, or is, there may be a sense that this person, one of these people, is younger than the other. It doesn't have to be the case, but it could be that this abusive energy is older. I feel like the flower energy is really quite well mannered. Attractive, appealing, like complimentary. I feel like this person's doing their absolute best to be conciliatory and maybe try and reconcile or bridge a gap, or they don't want to fight. Somebody wants to disengage. This card's facing the opposite way to the boxing glove, and somebody wants to disengage here. And the staff, and the whip can lash out, right? And the staff, again, a rod, a punishing stick it could be as well. I don't like this at all. I don't like this, and I'm worried about what's happening here. This is about casting a circle as well in the book. It's about, you use a sacred staff or ritual staff to cast a circle, and that gives protection to your ritual energetically. And somebody really does need some protection in this. It's also assistive in climbing. It's assistive in terms of like feeling injured or suffering injury. You've got to use it to kind of navigate, to get it through difficult spaces, but also sticks are used to lean upon when we're struggling. And that for me is the predominant message coming through here with the foundations. All this red energy with the whip up here as well, and the brown up here, it just feels very angry. It feels such strong anger. This person, your person or someone they're dealing with, feels on really shaky ground. I feel like they think that they should feel protected, but they're not being protected. Again, we've got that frequency. We've got an older person and a younger person here. I do feel that's relevant for some of you. I hope to hell this isn't a minor. Because if this is a minor, this person is not okay. Not okay, and should not be in this situation. But yeah, you know your person, you know your situation. Somebody needs to start again. Somebody needs a new beginning. It's giving me Ace of Wands vibes. They may really want a new beginning. They may really want a fresh start with these flowers, that freshness coming through. And it's about words, and it's about, I think there's a lot of verbal abuse here, a lot, with the dictionary, with the communication, and it feels like hypercritical, or like looking at the minutiae, going over every detail, or picking apart the language that somebody uses, or how they say something, being jumped upon, and it's about knowledge, this dictionary energy. It's about being open as well, open in your communication. I feel like somebody really needs to stand up for themselves, really needs to ask for protection maybe, because there's a scrutinizing energy with this dictionary. And I feel like, somebody here might be offering help to the other person, and all they get is aggression or conflict or pushed away or punched away. It's like it's really full on, this energetic force of this boxing glove, like pushing away somebody else's attempts to be kind, or attempts to offer help, or attempts to engage, or attempts to communicate. It says here, a book listing the words of a language with translations into another language. Yeah, it feels like there's a complete miscommunication in this frequency. I just feel that this is actually very precarious, and that somebody here is at rock bottom dealing with somebody else who is super aggressive, who lashes out. I mean, this is a case of biting the hand that feeds you kind of thing. And I feel like this person could be a closed book, where somebody's trying to be open and somebody's really closed and defensive. It feels defensive. The staff feels like it's also, I mean, it can be, I'm seeing a Joe staff now, and like martial arts fighting, it can be very defensive. It's a very powerful weapon if wielded correctly in terms of protection of energetic. And somebody here really does need to protect their energetic. They really need to disengage. They do not need to involve in this conflict. It does take 2 blows to make a battle. Therefore, they need to not engage in a situation that could like easily become like crazy, is what I'm getting. This could well be a domestic abuse scenario with the house. At the very least, it's just horrendous battleground kind of flavor here, and somebody's trying really hard to make repair. And maybe it's because of, I mean, for all I know, it could be because of a sexual transgression, or, you know, covering up something here. And the book can be closed information or hidden knowledge as well. So maybe there's some hidden knowledge about, you know, being unfaithful. That could be the case in this scenario. And then, you know, they're trying to make it look nice, or they're trying to seem open, but in that case it would be very deceptive, and the other person is possibly very angry, or they don't know, and the person who's guilty is the one being very controlling in this scenario, very controlling and very aggressive and suddenly quick to react, because guilt can have that effect, right? It can people can kick off because their conscience is bothering them, and that could be an issue. And there's an ethical energy going on with this dictionary card for me with these glasses here. This is an ethical issue. I'm hearing law as well. I don't know why I'm hearing that letter of the law as well. I'm hearing that. It could be that somebody needs to know their legal position, and they need to be able to find information out about some kind of legality here. It could be to do with paternity or maternity or something like that, or something concerning a child or a minor, is what I want to say there with that father energy. There could be conflict around that space. I feel like with foundations coming up and house coming up, I feel like this conflict could well be around living arrangements as well, or a shared property, or a shared location, or being close within the community. It's like one person trying to get the other person out. This could be like a horrendous neighbor kind of situation. But boy, are they horrendous. Like this, somebody here is really provocative, and there does need to be some kind of researching of legality about this, or if there's any suspicion. Oh, I mean, I don't, maybe even the law or the legal system intervening in this frequency if necessary. What's going on behind closed doors here? I'd say an abusive situation is going on behind closed doors. I would say that if it's not abusive, it's very bloody close to it. I would say that somebody here feels really hemmed in or unable to move, or like locked down, or, you know, is doing their best to make things appear nice or be kind in order to manage somebody else's tendency to aggressive and sudden reactionary energy. And they also, but this person may need to stand their ground, is what I'm getting with this situation. Somebody here does need to stand their ground. They're not getting the support that they need, and they need to recognize that a new beginning pretty much is the only way forward here. It's almost like with this staff and this whip, it's almost like they've taken this new beginning is offering itself in a supportive way, but if it's ignored, I feel like it curls into this whip. It's not supportive. It becomes lashing. Maybe it was a situation that was a new scenario, but has wound up in a space of really strong conflict. There is, I think, some kind of hidden knowledge or hidden information. And I think it's being hidden by the person who is trying to kind of smooth things over or gloss over. Or, I mean, it could be a glossing over of, like I say, a sexual transgression or lack of, or they're glossing over their own terrible behavior or their own aggressive tendency or their own domineering approach, or because they feel defeated and therefore they're being combative. I mean, that could be the case here. But I feel like people who are like this, they need somebody else to like bully around, don't they? Otherwise they don't feel that sense of superiority if they don't have anyone to lord it over. And, you know, it's an impressive house going on up here. I mean, maybe this is like something to do with money or status as well. Maybe somebody is conflicted about, and mentally as well, about, you know, being in the limelight. I want to say being on a platform as well. I mean, it's a raised, slightly elevated space, isn't it? A combat arena, a boxing ring, this looks like. It's like cordoned off, though, cordoned off area. And that's, you know, maybe in elevating themselves, or maybe they thought they were building on a foundation that would elevate themselves, and actually it's feeling just horribly conflicted. I don't really know what else to say about this. This is not pretty, is what I'm feeling. There's somebody is really in a shaky space. That's what I'm thinking, and they need to lean on someone or seek knowledge or seek counsel. And somebody needs to listen and understand a different point of view and open up about information, instead of being closed down, instead of being so guarded, instead of being so cut off from the compassionate energy. Talent for creating and supporting life. I think somebody might be jealous here of somebody who does have that talent. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So somebody does want to be looked up to, is what I'm getting, but they abuse this position. Yeah, they abuse this position. This is very wrong aspected Emperor energy, which is a card that is dangerous when it's wrongly aspected. And I am getting that this person has that edge here. This person, you either know that somebody here is dangerous, yeah, I think you probably know that, actually. And maybe you're considering, you know, what you can do about this situation. you could offer assistance with maybe legal energy, or where to reference or research for information. You don't have to do anything, obviously. And again, this reading must resonate with you. So if you're really not feeling this vibe and you're really super surprised by this, then maybe it's not your reading, and you because this is super powerful energy going on up in here. So I'm going to ask for Spirit to send this person, or whoever needs it here, protection. In your mind, I would take a staff in your mind and draw a circle in the sand around this person and ask for Spirit to protect this individual, whoever needs protection here. Because I feel that this person is quite innocent, maybe, or young, or a bit naive, or just, delicate, sensitive. That's what I'm getting. And this whip is not the kind of energy you want anywhere near the flowers. It's a destructive energy. They just don't go together for me. And it's something needs to be cleared up here, and it needs maybe to be articulated. Something could well be needing to be articulated and sorted out, and somebody needs to simmer the hell down, or get some counsel or support or assessment, or because it could be that their mental health is the problem here. Doesn't have to be. So again, take what resonates. But yeah, I am slightly concerned about this one. I really hope that resonates, but that's what I'm getting for behind the scenes for you, Stack 1, and lots of prayers for the person that needs support here. Thanks so much. Bye. Well, hi, Stack 2, and welcome here. This is interesting energy. So, my first impression of this person is that they're actually recovering. The fuel station here, I feel like they felt a bit drained, and they're needing to take to sort of fill themselves up, is what I want to say. Fill up their cup, fill up their tea cup here with the tea leaves card going on. And I want to start with the goddess energy, because it came out in reverse, but I feel that this is sort of, anyway, we'll get to it. So the goddess says, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And then the negative shadow aspect says exploitation of the female nature and form. So either this person has exploited that kind of energy, and they don't have to be masculine and exploiting feminine energy. They can be female here as well. But my vibe on this for most of these people is actually that they've dealt with being exploited, is what I'm feeling as a primary energy in this particular reading. And the reason for that is that I feel that this person is actually very cautious about this happening again, or quite suspicious of people offering things. It's the offerings card, offering compliments maybe, or really going overboard and laying everything out. Look at how many dishes and various foods are on the table, etc. with this person. And I think that this person there's a reluctance, because we've got the fox. The other side of this is the fox from the Lenormand, and it's looking back at this energetically. And the fox is pretty damn cautious. It's pretty cautious I live in the country and foxes are native around here, and I saw more when I lived in the town. I have not seen one fox around here. So there's a sense of elusive quality with this as well. Sorry about my cat, she's just constantly chatting. So yeah, we've got like this shadow aspect of the goddess, and it feels actually that this person has been dealing maybe with self-worth issues around their physicality. I think they are very attractive, this person, but I don't think they perceive themselves necessarily in those terms. And I think that this is something that's being worked on behind the scenes here, you know. Here it says, a kind word warms for 3 winters, and it's a Chinese proverb. Look at those lovely fluffy slippers. And then we've got, don't break your shin on a stool that's not in your way. And I'm really drawn to the dead flowers on top of this. And I feel like this has been a stumbling block for this person, or it's been an obstacle to growth or to elevation, but this person is definitely elevating. Now, either they have dealt with somebody who has been very kind, a kind word, complimentary, warm, offered them things and then snuck away, maybe with someone else. That could be the case here, or migrated or moved. I want to say that because the stalks talk about migration or movement, and there's 2 of them in this card. And I feel that maybe this person was really impacted on a confidence level, despite the fact that I feel that this person is really attractive. And it's the feminine energy coming through here, the goddess energy coming through. And I feel like this is a message from Spirit to explain this frequency, because goddesses have been massively sidelined, right? Massively sidelined. The pantheons that we know of, all the gods are the major players in it. Maybe the Indian pantheon has kind of hung on to its like powerhouse goddesses. But in general, they've been sexualized. Take the example of Venus. Now, if you track Venus back into the older mythologies, she is a powerhouse of a goddess, like a highly significant goddess, representing love in like broad aspects, like an enormously important pantheonic figure. But you have to track back through various cultures and different names to recognize that. Then she's minimized and minimized again, and then by the time the Roman Empire comes in, she's minimized further. And then when Christianity comes in, a lot of the attributes associated with Venus were kind of whacked over Mary, who wasn't a goddess at all. So she was demoted and demoted and demoted, and then denied her sexuality as well, because we get suddenly, you know, a very sensual energy moving to a virginal energy who still manages to pop out a baby. Miracles indeed. So anyway, this goddess energy expressed through the wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. I feel like this person is turning this situation around. I feel like they may have been exploited, they may have been taken from, or they may have dealt with very, very selfish people, that they ended up giving and giving and giving a lot to the situation. And they may have shut down. So this could have been in the past because of the way that this fox is looking towards the past. Maybe you're dealing with this person and you're wondering why they are a little bit closed down, or maybe they're not communicating very much, or maybe they're just evasive, a little evasive. And this is because maybe you get a kind word here and there and then they don't seem to be around. I don't know your scenario, but it's because this person has been, I want to say pigeonholed, placed in a minimized position by other people. We could even have within the community. I'm just looking at these tea leaves down here, and we've got what looks like a tree in the tea leaves, but it looks a bit like sort of broken in my mind. So I feel like this could have been maybe a family situation or a community situation, or even physically. Like I say, there may even be physical issues here, maybe concerning food even. In a very extreme case, this could be overindulgence, or it could be the opposite. It could be like anorexia or bulimia, that sort of boom bust kind of energetic with food, or a tricky relationship with food, or not feeling like, again, I'm feeling that this person feels that they're not worthy. I feel like this person is learning to receive. The giving and receiving energy up here, I feel like Spirit is kind of saying you must learn to receive as well as to give in I think this person is scared about giving of themselves or their true nature, because I feel like under the surface there is actually a lot of very unusual energy with this person, and it is very beautiful and it is very powerful. It's very powerful, this frequency, but this person is wary. They're wary of accepting offers from others, for sure, because they know that in the past it's put them in difficult situations. It's that thing, isn't it, where you accept something and then a couple of months later somebody says, oh, well, now you owe me. And I don't know about you, but that's happened a lot in my experience. And, you know, between me and my female friends, there is a lot of caution about accepting something, because it's always a question of, well, what's the catch? What do you want? What are you trying to get out of this situation? And this person, I feel, is thinking along the same lines, because they've been taken advantage of or even stolen from. And it's their confidence or their juiciness or their sensuality or their love of nature or something like that has kind of been felt like it's been sort of kind of decimated. I feel like to say decimated. I think they've dealt with a fair amount of loss or grief. But this person is recognizing that the power of gratitude is a game changer. That's what I want to say. The power of feeling grateful for what they have is making them aware of what they have, and what they have is a lot. They have a lot, and they have a really pronounced gift here with this tea leaves. This person is extremely psychic, is my vibe, and I feel like it's, or maybe healing, or maybe able to offer comfort or care, because I'm seeing like a cup of tea, sit down, have a tea, you know, relax. They're able to relax people. Look at these feet and the stool. I want to put these feet on the stool and say, you know, the stool's not in your way, just it's something to put your feet up on. And then with the fuel station, this person is turning their energy around, because they're refueling their ability to just allow themselves to chill out. But I also feel that this person has ancestral gifts, and again I'm seeing that tree, and it feels so old and so well established, and it feels like these little black bits are kind of birds or parts of the tree that are flying in order to kind of rebuild it. And I feel like this person is inheriting or pulling from past lives, or pulling from that ancestral line some kind of powerful spiritual energy. Yeah, I want to say counsel or healing or ability to read what's happening or what's going to happen, or the future energies. And although this person isn't yet looking at the future, they're still a bit wary. This card, the gift here, this is such a positive card. And I feel like it's healing. Yeah, definitely this person is healing. It feels like it's healing energy that they may have been in or felt that they've had to deal with. And it's giving them a new sense of independence, because the fox in the Lenormand is very independent. They work for themselves often. It's a kind of a self-employed frequency for a lot of them. It's a sense of putting yourself at the center of things in order to elevate. And that's what's really coming across here. This person is thinking about or putting themselves at the heart of things. They're looking after their own energy. They're looking after their own energetic. I feel like there may have been some financial difficulties here, and definitely lack mentality. But if there have been, this is going to come back in. And maybe this person worries too much. Don't break your shin on a stool that's not in your way. I feel like Spirit is saying, stop worrying. This is just you getting back on track. This is just you filling up your cup. This is you working on self-love, because self-love is really important for this person. And I think there's an exploration of gifts of foresight or ancestors or spirits or, healing and refueling and bringing in that ancestral energy that's very, very powerful. Or this entire reading is about you. And Spirit wants to let you know that what's going on behind the scenes is this energy is changing. Maybe you've been focused on something in the past that seemed negative or didn't work out, or maybe you're looking back on your past self, because I feel like this person, whoever they are looking back on their past self and thinking, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to be minimized. I don't want to be objectified. I don't want to be trophied. That's coming through as well. But I don't want to treat people this way, maybe. I don't want to be somebody that objectifies, trophies, or minimizes the female form. Or, is on the surface level, or is taken in by flattery, or does flatter, or is taken in by vanity, or, or they don't want to rely on feeling good to come from other people. And I feel like this exploration of their psychic gifts is confronting them with having to be independent or to break free from maybe their community or family in terms of what they perceive that this person should be doing, how they should be presenting themselves. This person is naturally extremely sensual. And like I say, I feel like this person has a lot to offer, but they are also, I feel, attractive. And even though they might not see themselves like this, their attraction can bring in people that want to take from them. And I feel like they're becoming aware of this and becoming a little bit more street smart with the fox. The fox is pretty street smart. Yeah. So they need to put their feet up and they need to stop worrying. And I think maybe they are. I wonder if this person's got gypsy blood. I'm just chucking that in there. For some of them, I do feel there's a heritage here. And I say that because the reading of tea leaves, like, it travelled all the way from the East and the Middle East and, like, southern Greece, all the way up into Northern Europe and then across to the UK here. And it came via the gypsy culture, because they brought the tea over initially, before we really even discovered how amazing tea was, or like had an idea that it was grown in China and India, for example. And I feel like there may be some ancient connection here to a very powerful lineage. I'm also seeing a mushroom up here. I feel like things could grow very quickly for this person. And I feel like this person could well be interested in medicine or psychoactives or herbs, or how to make concoctions, or I'm seeing lots of witching energy, or lots of but hedge witch kind of frequency, lots of natural law, LORE, not LAW, but they really know how to make people feel better and what is healing. And this will, giving this energy, gifting other people. So what they need to do is they need to gift themselves the ability to acknowledge this deep intuition, this deep psychic capability, or unusual skill set. And in gifting that to other people, they are healing themselves. That's what I want to say about this. So to give is to heal, but to receive is paramount here. That's what Spirit's saying. I know it sounds weird, but like half of this looks a bit like a parrot to me, and the other half looks a bit like a sort of wise guy with a strange beard. And so what I'm getting with this is that this person may have turned around from people or who just repeated stuff, or that just repeated words without them having meaning, or gossip even with the parrot, or loud or brash energy. It could be, again, like family situation, doesn't have to be, and a physical body as well. The tree is often associated with the physical. Maybe they've actually physically removed themselves, or maybe they are already sort of, there's a gap, I don't know. But I feel like they've stopped talking. I feel like they've stepped into their wisdom, and they've turned around from this and learned not to bother with a shallower energy. Are learning not to bother, because small acts of kindness, a kind word, warms for 3 winters, go a long way with this person. And they recognise that small acts of kindness go a long way with others too. And I feel that is something that people who appreciate small acts usually have been through bigger stuff. Because when you go through something like major or cataclysmic or really difficult to handle, the smallest encouragement can make an enormous difference. And I feel like this person has been through a space of being either stereotyped or boxed, or told that they are something they are not, or being treated like something that they are not, or being accused of things that they are not. And now Spirit is saying it's no big deal. They've got to put any idea of how they should be perceived to the side, and not listen to naysayers. This person really appreciates little things, as small gestures mean a lot to this person. And I don't think it's even like physical. I don't think it's stuff. I think this person's really happy with kind words. Don't break your shin on a stool that's not in your way. They don't want to deal with any more obstacles. I think they felt enough loss or felt enough lack within themselves. So they're following their own pathway despite what other people may think. And they're doing this even if their community or their family or people who want to gossip about them have an issue. Because I feel like there are people that do have an issue with this person's chosen pathway. And it's none of their fucking business, is it? It's none of their business. How a person chooses to show up in the world. And then again, the fox, for me, that's all about showing up in the world in a very unique energy or very independent energy. The fox is often associated with sort of lone energetic with the Lenormand, and I feel like this person is having to really recognize the gift of maybe not being connected to something that previously minimized, sidelined, or made them feel criticized as well. That could be a situation here, because a kind word warms for 3 winters, but a negative word would have a very deep impact on this person. They are affected by what people say. And there's a lot of natural fire or a natural glow. Look at all the gold and the orange here and the red. And I want to turn this goddess the other way round. I want to say that this person is turning around. They're in a relationship with their feminine aspect, and they're doing it through wisdom. They've gained wisdom. They're doing it through nature, through their own embracing of their beauty, their abundance, and knowing that they are so much more than the packaging, so much more than what they can gain or what can be offered to them. They are looking for somebody potentially in a relationship, not all of them. If they are in a relationship, I feel like they're happy in that. But they're still sort of one eye on the past is what I'm feeling. But I feel like this person may be gifted in a relationship with somebody who also is very lone kind of energy, very independent, very wary of being compartmentalized themselves. So you could have two very attractive people here, is what I'm feeling. Yeah, this is about self-care, is about transformational frequency. And this person is cautious about revealing their inner gifts because they want to reveal them to the people that are attracted to that frequency, and they are attracting in. This person could attract in people, help them migrate sections of their life that are difficult to migrate, changes, transformative frequency. I feel like this person is really capable of helping people through transformation because they are they are learning it. So this person will naturally assess risks and resources before making a move. Definitely. It's necessary. And they need to be gentle with themselves because they are still recuperating. Although I feel like, and they may be punishing themselves slightly that they've made mistakes that they didn't have to, or they've walked into obstacles that they didn't have to. They could have just moved around it. But it's all part of the learning process. Maybe this person's dealt with a karmic situation in the past is what I'm getting. But this person is a bit of a dreamer is what I'm feeling. And they are able to dream things into being. I think there's a very delicate nature to this person. Or there's a very pure energy. I do feel like this person has been victimized. But then maybe this is you and the person taking advantage or compartmentalizing is who you're asking about. But regardless, Spirit says this is the frequency here and this is what you need to know. And I think that's all I've got for you because it's really positive. It's moving to like real elevation, real transformation. They could end up traveling with their energy, with their gifts even. But there is some kind of inherited gift that they really are reconnecting with. It's like, I always want to say, it's like a soul reclaiming frequency that's going on here, that like drawing in aspects of themselves that maybe they haven't been connected with for maybe multiple lifetimes, is what I want to say here, or ancestral energy that was due or to be inherited is now being inherited in a very different way. And I feel like Spirit is bringing in this awareness or this gift or this sense of independence or this sense of you can do this and you don't need anyone else to do it. You can do it on your own. You don't need to be supported because although you're not looking to the future, you have great foresight, and very soon there will be a gift that comes your way that feels extraordinarily transformational. Could be like true love here. I'm hearing the song. How does it go? You've got to give a little, take a little. Oh, I can't remember it. And let your poor heart break a little. That's it. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Yeah, that's lovely. I think that pretty much sums up the energy here. Yeah, I think this person is actually getting to a point of really being well adjusted, having a lot to offer, and they're going to recognize they've got a lot to offer, but they've got to follow their own pathway on their own. All right then. I really hope that resonated with you, and if it did, please like, subscribe and share. Drop me a comment. Lovely to hear from you, and take care. I'll read for you again soon. Bye. Hello to those of you that chose stack 3. Do you know, I always get the impression that quite a lot of people choose stack 3. The energies are often like showing a variety of possibilities or scenarios, and I just don't feel that this is any exception here. I don't know why. Is it psychological to want to choose number 3? I don't know. But what have we got? I'm going to look at this kind of with a broad brush frequency because it's difficult for me to drill down into this. we've got a lot of animals. That's the first thing that's standing out. We've got the four-legged card from the shamanic deck depicting a load of animals, from horses to buffalo to deer, and I think that might be a lion or a lioness, and then a goat, and then a wolf in the middle. We've got a dog here. We've got the zoo card, which I pulled two accidentally, and I decided to keep it because I sort of did it kind of mindlessly, which always suggests to me that it has a reason to come through when your brain is blanked out. And this is a snake. And then here we've got a bird. We've got a beautiful kingfisher, actually. So lots of animal frequency coming out in this reading. The second thing that really stands out to me is the fact that we pulled the God card up here from the Archetypes deck. Then we've got a book over here. We've got a proverb that says, the devil makes pots but not lids. We've got a snake, and we've got the lovers. So it's very Garden of Eden. This is very Garden of Eden. And I want to say strong temptation is a massive factor in this particular reading. So, I mean, what's going on? Okay, let's start with the God card. It came in the upright, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And I feel that somebody here is very, very sweet, very compassionate, looks at the positive, looks at the glowing energy, and is devotional with the dog. I mean, the dog is a very devotional frequency in the Lenormand. It's very dedicated, but it is very submissive. And then the shadow attributes, I want to read that as well, because this devil energy came in underneath. Despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. My vibe is that there are two at the minimum, it could be more people involved, but there are two people, it feels, or two very oppositional frequencies. So it could be one person with two very different sides to their nature. And in that case, it's kind of like the spiritual ideal or their sort of mindset or devotion versus their animal instinct. The other side of this, because of this snake and the lovers and the spontaneity and the temptational energy, is that there could be two people here. One is naive to the fact that the other may be having an affair. Yeah, that's a definite possibility here. Or, third possibility, somebody is very much trying to hide that their nature, their sort of animal instinct is not trying very much to hide the visibility of this instinctual energy or this temptational energy or this spontaneous heat related, because we've got fire up here and this steaming pot here, this kind of heat and the oasis. I mean, there's a lot of heat in that as well. They're trying to hide their passion or their heat or their underbelly is what I'm feeling to say about that. And they are presenting a very devotional front. So you've got to take what resonates with this particular reading. Like I say, I think a lot of people choose Stag Through. So there's a lot of animals here, and I feel like spirit sort of coming through in this God card is giving animal messages, or messages via animals. Could be animal totems, could be animal spirits, could be like dogs in particular. It does say four-legged, but that doesn't necessarily preclude like other animals, but there is a strong frequency that's coming through in terms of messages or information with the book connected to animals. Or maybe there's a person here that really is adoring of animals. and is very sort of devotional to the animal kingdom, it could be. I feel like Spirit is trying to message or communicate, even in words, maybe with the book, via the animal kingdom. And I don't know why I want to say that, but I think it's really relevant to somebody here. The other thing is that I feel like somebody could be in jeopardy, and this could be a friend that you're inquiring about with the dog. Not in jeopardy, but they are tempted towards maybe a love relationship that feels like there's hidden negative energy. If that's the case, I would be inclined to kind of get this person to look closer at the details, because the book is closed in this particular Lenormand card, and I feel like the book can be traditionally related to secrets or hidden information, which makes me think that there's something underneath here that is nowhere near as wholesome as it's being portrayed. It feels like, because this wolf is the most prominent energy here, and then the dog, it feels like somebody is quite predatory and somebody is very keen to please or quite submissive or wants to believe something as being true or unquestionable, and they may be very loyal. This person may be very loyal, but there's somebody else, if that's the case, that is predatory. A wolf is predatory. A snake, it devours other living animals. And this bird feels like it's just about to be put in the pot. And that's interesting, because this says a bird with beautiful plumage does not sit in the corner. And that is from the Cameroon. And actually in Africa, this particular proverb can say a chicken with beautiful plumage does not sit in the corner, because it goes straight in the eating pot, right? So I feel like there's a kind of devouring frequency here, which unsettles me somewhat. Somebody despotic, somebody who wants to use their power to control or to injure, or to just elevate themselves so they are perceived in this godlike position. They're perceived, they want somebody else to look up to them. And look, this dog is like very devotional, asking to go for a walk. I mean, dogs are submissive. They're very devotional energies. They're very and it's an open frequency, and it could even be an employee-employer situation that I'm getting here, because the dog can represent an employee. And maybe this is a work affair or something like that. But somebody here is very devoted, but I want to say that they're very kind of unquestioning about their mindset, or unquestioning of the facts. They need to reveal more information to themselves. And it feels like it's a closed book. Somebody's a closed book, somebody's very open. And it is some kind of like a neediness or dependency. I mean, it could be that somebody here is younger and is more dependent on the other, or it doesn't have to be the case. It just could be a personality thing. And it says endurance, and this, I feel like this submissive energy just wants to endure, because I feel there's a strong desire or a strong devotion or a strong dedication to maybe a partner or a lover, or to wanting to express love also, or express desire with the fire energy, maybe wanting to open up and just say, I love you, I love you. That's what's coming through as well. Yeah, they want to let it out. They don't want to hide what is felt. They want to speak the truth. Maybe they felt like they've been submissive or on side or sideline for too long. But there's a kind of proper way to behave, because the God frequency here and the sort of the masculine frequency, it often in the devotional aspect is expressed in the organizational or consistent or the regularity of devotional practice, action, the action of devotional practice. And this can become like confining, if kind of not married as much with the feminine energy, which is less formulaic, is what I want to say. Both are required, but I feel this is maybe a structure or a definite like kind of religious connotations, very strong Christian energy. It doesn't have to be Christian, but like mode of belief or the way of doing things or the way that you are expected to behave. But it feels almost like somebody's feelings have been sidelined or closed down, or and there's a desire almost to lift the restriction on that, or get, to have the ability to speak out, to use your outside voice, to word things with a book. It's almost like a permission to enjoy. Can I please enjoy myself? Can I please allow myself to feel this heat, feel the instinctual energy, feel the balance of the instinct versus the structural belief system, or the way things should be conducted in inverted commas. And the fire as well, like, so pyromancy or the art of fire gazing, or it was sacred for a long time in many cultures. With the book above, it gives me that sort of sacred connotation, but then it became forbidden. And again, it feels like the forbidden fruit is what I want to say. Pictures and visions maybe coming through in fire here too. There's some kind of forbidden energy that somebody is like really devoted to a lover, or fire hot, fire burns. It feels like, the burning heat of the fire is consuming or destroying the knowledge or the preconceptions of this person, or the ability to actually look closer at this frequency or look at the information, because that desire is so strong, the desire to be involved with somebody, or involved in a love affair. Now, the snake next to the lovers, that feels like strong sexual energy. And it's very attractive because we've got the oasis. I mean, it's an attractive space that attracts a lot of frequency, and this beautiful bird, again, an attractive energy that pulls in predatory energy as well. I feel like the snake is like sloping down the sand dune to get to the oasis, because all things need to feed and all things need water. I just feel that it's not a good energy. And somebody might be saying to themselves, I just need to endure. I just need to get through this. Now, either they're enduring their own desire to listen, they're either enduring and trying to suppress their instinctual energy, and just need to kind of push through, stay loyal to my faith, stay loyal to my beliefs, stay loyal to their mental structure or their mindset or their intellectual way of doing things. Or that's how it feels actually in terms of this dog, that they just need to endure and then open up and express with heat. I mean, maybe if I wait long enough, this person will desire me, or this person or somebody will find me really, sexual or attractive. Or if I'm kind, if I'm make myself indispensable. But it really doesn't work that way, does it? Like, the more indispensable this person makes themselves, the less likely they are going to be perceived as desirable. Or maybe they're looking in on a relationship that somebody has with somebody else, where there is strong magnetic attraction, strong sexual energy, strong spontaneous frequency, and they secretly want in on this, or they secretly find this appealing or attractive. And they could run into injury because they're feeding a temptation within themselves to maybe involve, or to maybe put themselves in competition, and they're being strongly messaged to not do this. If that's the case, that, I mean, spirit is coming in with information and saying, you know, that's not the case, but it feels like somebody wants to speak out, and they feel like they feel like this is kind of, it's really frustrating. They feel like they can't. I mean, this dog's got a lead in his mouth or her mouth here. Looks a bit like a puppy. There is this kind of innocent, die-hard belief going on towards this energy that they find very appealing or very sexually attractive. Again, the dog next to the book, this could be facts about a friend, or letting a friend into a secret information, or sharing with a friend, or knowing a lot about a friend. Believing something without question is a closed book frequency, hidden information. This person could be very easily led, is what I'm getting. You know, following a process, not questioning the details, not looking close enough. But they could be very loyal to their own concept of truth, or again, to a belief system, a belief structure, or it could even be begging for the truth, or really wanting the truth from somebody here who may be having or conducting a secret liaison or an affair. But this dog energy feels spiritually devotional, is what I want to say about that, or at least like devoted to their work or their knowledge, or what they consider to be their truth or their fact. Now let's talk a little bit about the predatory energy here, because this is and I feel that exists in this shadow attribute of despotism and power and controlling people. And maybe this person uses a gloss of like friendliness or devotional energy or dedicated energy, but in fact they are very predatory underneath this. Very predatory, dangerous. I mean, it's a wolf and a snake and a pot with a boiling, steaming pot without a lid, and fire. I mean, they could burn people, and maybe they have burned people. And I feel like this person may get in with people by acting as if they are of service, or acting like they are devoted to their spiritual self, or that they are, you know, not this way at all, that they're benevolent, that they have a love of nature or the animal kingdom or anything like that, because animals are very strong, or maybe, you know, but it's a law is what I'm getting. It's a law with this snake frequency, and they stay hidden. They present this particular friendly space, but underneath the knowledge that they're researching, it's almost like they research and can get knowledge on somebody in order to inspire devotional energy. Or maybe they're even in a teaching position here. Maybe they are on an elevated platform in a spiritual sense, or at least that's how they perceive themselves, and they present this benevolence, and they present themselves as sort of maybe wise or shamanic or connected, or, you know, but actually this is a guise to lure in attractive energy and then eat it. This wolf would happily have a small snack on this bird down here, even more appealing if it's a chicken, right? And the devil makes pots but not lids. This proverb from Italy, it suggests that the evil things will come to light. They will be revealed eventually. The truth will come to light. You can't put a lid on it forever, because it boils over. The more you try and suppress it, the more that it boils over, and the steam is rising up into the shadow element of this God force, using power to control people, despotism. And I feel like things are coming to light, and maybe somebody's witnessed something here or is witnessing it. A bird with beautiful plumage does not sit in the corner, and maybe they want to speak out, Maybe they want to say something about this predatory energy, what's under the surface, the underbelly, and to kind of expose it, to open the book, to shedding light on the situation and say, actually, although it looks really nice from the outside, underneath is an untrustworthy, deceptive, despotic, potentially dangerous, manipulative is what I'm getting with that snake frequency. And again, I'm getting the devil in the Garden of Eden, manipulative, like says pretty things, but it's a feeling that underneath the surface, this person is disloyal, untrustworthy, because this could be a third party energy. With the snake in the Lenormand card often represents another person that maybe this predatory person finds very appealing, very attractive, and it could be somebody from the past. I don't know. It's just kind of feeling like the frequency is going like this way instead of this way. And they want to approach this or eat or drink of it. And again, it feels very physical because it is the animal kingdom. It feels very instinctual and animalistic. And again, I feel it's hidden. There's a hidden frequency here. And maybe somebody's buying it. Maybe they already have a lover and somebody's buying it and doesn't believe it. And it's not, how could it possibly be? And no, this person would never do that. But they would. And somebody, maybe they're starting to suspect it. Maybe they're starting to see things are about to be revealed is what I'm getting. The heat is rising. The heat is coming up into the shadow attribute. It's revealing this person's shadow. I think this person may well be coming to terms with the fact that somebody that they were devoted to, or that they feel submissive to, or maybe they feel they owe loyalty to, or they believed in, is not what they thought they were. And they're getting like messages in the physical from spirit to identify this person, or even words coming to them or something like this, or they are seeing flashes of inspiration to show them that it is not what it seems. It may look good on the outside. Maybe they're dealing with somebody they find really attractive. It does feel like there's strong desire here. It may look good on the outside, but give it time and this lid, the lack of the lid on the pot starts to show itself, and it's rising up. Maybe they thought this person was benevolent. Maybe they thought they were compassionate, recognizing the eternal force within them as well as within others. But actually, the submissive energy here is that the compassionate space is the person that recognizes. And they're coming to terms, I feel like, whoever they are, whatever their situation, I feel like they're coming to terms with what constitutes right or wrong. They're having to flex on their quite rigid belief systems or belief structure. They're having to flex on that to get down to earth, to understand that they need to make contact with like the natural self, the nature-based self, in order to wise up, in order to understand. Your instinctual energy is not an enemy. It's not an enemy. Instead, it's something that's there to show that it's a strong and important aspect of the self. And it doesn't preclude spirituality or spiritual belief systems, and they should be side by side. Otherwise, something's missing, is what I want to say. And maybe this person is coming to terms with that. And they could be easily led down the wrong pathway, tempted down the wrong pathway, if there's a suppression on the animal energy, on the natural instinct, because that instinct can save your life. That's your, fight, flight or freeze response. And, that is an absolute life-saving survival factor. And I feel like this person has either tried to remove it, or they are removed from it, or they're actively bloody hiding it. And again, your person. And so you've got to take what resonates here. But this is about self-discovery for somebody here. And this is about what is seen and visible and obviously visible, and what is not seen, what is hidden, what is secret, what is the underbelly. And maybe somebody is desiring something because they see them in these lovely terms, but underneath, this person could do damage, significant damage, possibly to their resources. The Oasis is a very resource-based energetic. There's strong physicality coming through here for me. Again, that could be home life, money, work. And also certainly a sense of how they perceive themselves. They don't want to be in the corner. There may be like a fuel of vanity here, that this person wants to be a primary feature, or primarily they want to be looked at. And again, it could be that they're outside of a relationship, looking in on a relationship, going, I want that. Maybe if I'm devotional, maybe if I'm a good friend, maybe if I gather information, I can position myself this way. Or they are presenting devotion while having an affair, or toying with others, or it's very strong sexual energy. Or they're in the dark about somebody else toying with sexual energy. But somebody here I don't feel is being faithful. I think they're being manipulative. I think they are sort of hooked on power. The zoo, it's kind of crazy town, isn't it? The zoo. And again, so much animal energy. But it's contained in a zoo. It's not out in the wild like this four-legged frequency. It's captured or confined. And it could be that somebody is attracted to capturing or confining something that they feel is beautiful. And so they lure in and then they capture and confine. But on the surface, they're presenting themselves in like, glowing spiritual terms or glowing community terms. There's lots of animals here, so maybe they're visible in the community, or maybe like they teach people, or maybe they are a student themselves, or maybe there's a religious connotation. Whatever it is, like this person, somebody here, the predator is not to be trusted, and the person submissive, subservient, or like loyal or friendly it needs to trust their instinctual suspicion, if they are getting hits of suspicion, that it's not what it seems. Something is hidden from view. It's secret. It's locked away. I mean, this is a lockable book. The information is there and things are coming to light, and there's beginning to be red flags in this situation. And I think that's all I've got for you, Stack 3. Because I think there's going to be some kind of opening, or some kind of expressing, or some kind of needing to speak out frequency that's coming forward here. And I really hope that if this submissive energy decides that they've been sidelined for too long, that they've been submissive for too long, that they need to articulate their truth, they need to do it with passion. I feel like I really want them to go for it. I really want them to trust their instinct and go for it, because it's going to be very healing. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for this one. It's complicated what's going on here, and there's a lot of underbelly is what I'm feeling to say. And if that resonated, please do like, subscribe, share, drop me a comment. So lovely to read from you again. I'll read for you again soon. Bye, darlings. Well, hi, Stack 4, and welcome. So I pulled a couple of extra cards on this because I was a little bit in need of like clarification, and I shall explain why. At the very least, I feel like what's going on behind the scenes, I feel like they're out of this space, but I feel like they have been through a dark night of the soul here. I mean, there's 2 references to darkness, so it's not been easy for this person. This first proverb says, you can only go halfway into the darkest forest before you start coming out the other side, which I love. I just think that's wonderful. And then, better to light a candle than curse in the darkness. So 2 references to dark. And yeah, it feels like it's been really hard. I feel like this person has felt very lost or very like it was a real struggle. We've got the mountain in the background of this card here, and it's giving me a feeling that it was like an impasse, or it was really hard, or there was delay. Delay does seem to be coming through for me quite profoundly here. I feel like this may have been happening over like 1 or 2 years even, is my vibe on this particular reading. I feel like it's really tested them. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness, but they've come from this dark space and then they've lit something. Something's been lit up within this person, and then boom, we've got the sun, like, seems to be rising. I feel like it's rising over this mountain, and I feel like this person is turning their back, or has turned their back. We've got 2 cards with the back turned here, on what's happened in the past, and is now unlocking a plan for the future, is what I'm feeling. Generally speaking, that's what I think is going on behind the scenes here. Now, this is the Femme Fatale card. It says, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart. I think that's what's happened here as well with the key. When your dependency is rejected. Now, that's interesting, because this person clearly has the power, I feel, to open up people's hearts, because they are not dependent. They strike me as an independent energy. They are not dependent, and they don't like dependency, I feel. Now, the shadow attributes, which are coming up near the dark cards, say inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money, and power. And I wondered whether this person had dealt with shadow aspects in themselves that had these qualities, because they were coming up next to these cards, but something didn't quite feel like it was fitting about that. So I picked a clarifier, and we got slave in reverse. And the shadow attribute says giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. So I feel like this person has felt enslaved, possibly because of a lack of decision. I feel like indecision could be a very strong factor with this person. Now, the light attribute says surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. And because that came up in reverse, I feel like during this dark night of the soul that this person has gone through, they have lit up their connection to spirit, or lit up their faith-based energy, because I feel that their situation, whatever it was, forced them into a position of being so in the dark that the only thing left to light was the candle. And it feels like a voltage candle. It feels like a faith-based energy. There are many small voltage candles here, and that is giving me the impression that this person maybe just had a little spark of hope, and then it's grown exponentially. I feel that they may have dealt with somebody, or dealt with issues of somebody being inappropriate with their sensuality, or being attached to money, or being attached to power. But you know your person, so maybe this is a shadow aspect that they've dealt with. I feel, though, that for a lot of them, this is somebody that in their past, maybe, that they have had to contend with. I feel like this person has been perceived as some kind of, I don't know, trophy. I want to say that. That came up in one of the other stacks. But the Femme Fatale, this is a very desirable energy, right? But it's not particularly an energy that is easily contained or easily controlled. And I feel like it would attract, or this person, whether they're male or female, I feel like they would attract energy that wants to control or sees them as a really good addition for, like, because they're sexy. I feel like this person's really sexy, but also they seem, it's like a good appendage to money, a wealth, power, that sort of thing. So maybe this person was kind of trophied, is what I want to say. And I feel like they were possibly enslaved to somebody that was in the shadow energy of this card, who was attached to the material aspects of life and inappropriately used their seduction. Giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. I feel like they felt a little bit, enslaved to the attraction maybe that they felt for somebody. And that this was an unusual energy for them because they felt maybe a dependency that they hadn't felt before. I feel like this person does possibly tend to keep people at arm's length. The reason for this, I feel, is because of this intimate energy is something that I feel like this person has struggled with. I feel they're naturally very sensual, and I feel that that has been very misread, very categorized. And actually what people don't see is this darkness that this person, I feel, has really struggled to get through. It feels like loss or suffering or total indecision about how to move on from something, or how to turn their back on something, or how to break the chains, is what I'm hearing. Break the chains. How to free themselves. I mean, a slave is not a good word. And I get that the surrendering to the divine is the only positive way to perceive this. I feel like that the upside down energy of this, though, is saying that this person has broken free or is breaking free from some kind of bondage or some kind of connective energy that felt important for them, that opened their heart, but was actually for the other person maybe about money and status. Again, this could be the same person, so do take what resonates. It could be that your person is also about, this person you're inquiring about has been through the shadow elements of dealing with that, dealing with their desire or attachment for money. It's very material. Status, power, money, and seductive, very seductive energy, and not being touchable because they don't want to make a decision, or they're in this energy of indecision about what they want. They'd rather maintain this kind of untouchable status, is what I'm getting. Oh, my camera just turned itself off. That's always fun, isn't it? So the other thing that makes me feel like this person has felt bound in some way, and then maybe this is a karmic situation that they've dealt with here. It could well be that that's the case. Maybe they felt, and the karmic situations are often like we're seduced into the energy of the karmic situation. It's very alluring, very appealing, and that's coming through with the femme fatale here. And then we feel very enslaved, very trapped, and that's where that devil energy can come in, where that bondage energy of the devil is, can't live with them, can't live without them kind of feeling. And I reckon that there may be somebody in this person's past where they were very in an indecisive mode, and actually I think that this person is only now getting to a point where the decision, it feels, has been made to move on, to really put this behind them, because this dark night of the soul feels extended and really hard. But this card here shows a gilded cage, right? And a rose inside it. And down here, we've got another rose in this flowers card that says fickle. Is this person fickle? I don't know. I feel like that with this card, I feel like this person has been played with emotionally. Maybe they played, again, take what resonates. It could be that this is them and that you are the person that's been played with emotionally. But I feel like they've dealt with somebody who played with them emotionally for most of them, because they're unlocking this gilded cage. That this is a freedom feeling. They are freeing themselves from this idea of being, again, enclosed or categorized or judged because of their appearance or because of their wealth. They could be wealthy, they could have status, they could, be very sensual. I think that, regardless, I think this person is just naturally extremely sexy. And I feel that may have attracted energies that want to enclose or encase or categorize or control or lock away this frequency. So this person feels like open. It feels very open, this energy. It feels like there's a lack of restriction, and that's, the key in the Lenormand does represent these things. Freeing the heart, freeing the mind, freeing themselves in general, and freeing themselves to plan or navigate their own pathway, with the pathway card down here, and we've got the compass up here. I did pull an extra card next to that because I wanted to see where the pin was pointing to. It was pointing away from this past situation for sure, but it's pointing to the fish card when I pulled that. And for me, it's about navigating a pathway in terms of their career or money is what I want to say here, but it's also about communication and which way they go. Again, these fish are swimming in different directions. I feel this person is still confused decisionally about which pathway to take in terms maybe of their material or their financial aspirations. There is maybe a problem with boundaries that this person has had, or other people putting very strong restrictions into their space, or feeling restricted themselves, like not freeing their mind. Again, I'm seeing the 8 of Swords now, so I feel like this person has felt very bound up in a mental space, in this frequency in the past, in this energy. And now that they're breaking this mode of thinking, they're breaking the way that they approach this. It's an escape frequency that's coming through. Running away, no, I don't think they are. I think it's genuinely slipping the net, is what I want to say with the fish. They're quite slippery energies. It's escaping from the cage. It's like, no, you can no longer contain me. No, I won't be held back by this anymore. And needing to make up their mind. So things could still, I feel, be a bit up in the air. And in this sense, I feel that this person has maybe kept themselves hanging or been kept hanging, maybe due to a lack of decision by somebody else. But I also feel that it's down to their lack of decision. I feel in general this person is romantic. And I mean, come on. We've got all this golden glow energy. We've got the sun over here. We've got 2 roses showing up. Flowers in general. Daisies here as well. Absolutely lovely. This pathway card with all these pretty little butterflies and this glowing light, and the restaurant as well, and candles, look, and the femme fatale. I mean, come on. This person is a die-hard romantic is what I'm feeling. And I think they're really hopeful for something abundantly romantic to emerge or to show itself. But I still feel that they might have a foot slightly in the past with this fickle energy, because this energy is showing up to me as like a I'm not sure, rather than this person being, you know, particularly fickle. Because the pathway card is here, I feel like the reason why they're unsure, unsteady, is because they can't actually see their destination at the moment, but they know it feels good. There's a glowing light up here. I really feel like this person is stepping sort of tentatively towards where they feel that they should be. But again, I feel it may be at a distance in their mind. They may see it as like a far off energetic. They may see it, and it's kind of stop and smell the roses kind of feeling. I don't feel that this person is in a hurry. Again, you could be looking at another 1 or 2 years here. And the reason why I'm drawn to say that is because this looks like a dragonfly. I know it's actually an arm tie, but it looks like a dragonfly, and I know they take like 2 years to gestate. So that's why I'm getting like time and possibly distance as well here, with the compass and these kind of distant views going on here. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and they're appreciating this. It's feeling much more golden, much more glowy over here. There's a lot of oranges and burnished reds and golden glow coming through. We've got 2 golden items. I feel like this person is, you know, abundant in their inner self. They may have wealth, but they may not. I feel like the wealth is in their nature, actually. It's in their natural aspect. It could have been a career thing that they've dealt with, but it feels more like a partnership. And I feel like it will take time. Was this person like wined and dined with this restaurant card down here? You know, I feel like it's really nice as well. Look at this. Absolutely lovely, like layout of food. And there's something about that makes me want to say design or artistry. Look at the key. I mean, again, exquisite. Maybe this person has skill sets in artistry or layout or design. It could even be something like photography. I just feel there's lots of sensual elements here. The scents coming through from the roses, the smell of the food and the taste and the texture of it. Very, very sensual energy, which makes them erotic or appear erotic to other people. But this feels very natural. It feels very part of this person's natural aspect. I feel like with this Seek card here, we've got the Vision Quest and we've got Seek. I feel like this person is getting in touch with like what I would call the old ways, the old pathways, the ancient language of the natural world, the shamanic energetic that is connected to that, and they're unlocking their avenue in doing so. It feels, I feel like this person may well have been in a kind of survival mode, and they can't continue. There could be a lot of fear that has held this person back. I feel like this has been some kind of like really important rite of passage, and it's into the spiritual zone. It's into spiritual knowledge. I think they're looking for themselves or seeking out the deeper meanings in things, seeking out the true nature of the self here, trusting in their direction, even if they don't know where it's going, following the inner compass. And, you know, when the key comes up, it always says, this is key. The vision quest is key. The compass is key. It's something about connecting with their inner vision to find their life path, to find their life's direction. And it's not about measuring according to what other people perceive or think. It's about finding their own voice. It's about stepping out of like their own containment or the feeling that they have to be perceived a certain way, or afraid of being perceived a certain way as well, but instead just being expressive and being natural. Because I feel that this, person is solving problems. Although I feel as well, again, I want to say I don't feel this person was really great with boundaries. But maybe they've learned. And I feel like they're allowing themselves to kind of enjoy the good things in life now, or to take pleasure in little things. In the food that they're eating, in the little insects, in the little flowers. There's something about enjoying the details here, the detailing of the key, again, coming to mind. And I do feel like this person is still a little bit unsure, but they are directionally moving towards, again, I want to say freedom, slipping the net, being in a space where they can just be who they are and giving them room to kind of swim around. Also moving towards more of the emotional content with that water there. Allowing this delicacy, I do want to say delicacy with the restaurant and the flowers, of their nature to be presented or expressed or to come through. They need to make up their mind. They could still be a bit up in the air. Again, I feel that it's a fear factor in terms of this person not feeling 100% sure about the decisions that they're making. And again, it's the fear of the unknown, which is what everyone's greatest fear is, really, when it boils down to it. Fear is always backed up by unknown quantity. And I feel like this person knows that they need a plan. They know that they need a plan of action. Because the key is, it's an open, and sometimes for me it means like an answer or a yes or an affirmation. And I feel like, yes, they know they need a plan of action here. Again, to do potentially with trade, transaction, money, career, but also where they want to invest their emotional content. It may not be that it may be that they don't really know where they are going, but I feel that they need to know why they are going. And actually, that's the primary energy that I feel that this person is working on, why they are going. Because they need to feed themselves with the right kind of food, is what I'm getting. The right kind of, and I can't remember the exact quote in the Bible, but there's some quote in the Bible talking about like eating of the spiritual food. And I feel that that's what's happening here, that this person is eating of the right kind of food. It's real sustenance. I feel like this person, like I say, is pretty damn independent. I feel like there's not a lot of energy around them. There's very few, figures in these cards. And this figure and the femme fatale figure feel like the same frequency. Yeah, I just don't feel, I feel like this is a very solo part of their journey, where they have to make these decisions on their own. And they have to kind of not sit on the fence with it and say, okay, this is the direction I'm taking. Instead of being afraid of making the wrong decision or afraid of being romantic, is what I want to say as well here. This person needs to embrace that in their nature, because they are for sure going through a transitional space with those butterflies. This is very transitional, and they are walking their pathway already, even if they don't see that. I think that Spirit is saying, just keep moving towards the light, keep moving towards that which is fragrant, that which feels good, but navigate away from, because this compass point, the south point, is pointing to the pathway. And then, you know, this flowers kind of energy. Don't be distracted, is what I'm feeling. Don't be distracted by something that looks good, that smells good, that seems to offer this idealized energetic, because the rose has many thorns. And I think this person is kind of embracing that thorn aspect to their nature as well. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I feel like for some of these people, they could have been through a situation that involved poverty, and now, and maybe that's an aspect of fear that also is like that kind of enslavement energy, enslaved to maybe money in terms of not having it, because that's a very enslaving frequency, isn't it? You know, when you feel very restricted because there's a lack of financial abundance or things are really tough. And I feel like this person is coming out of that, if that's the case, and moving towards a much healthier approach to their resources. And they are very resourceful, is what I want to say. Naturally quite resourceful, but they may need to organize or navigate or plan better. Making the most of what they have, making the most of what they possess. This girl has only got like a small bag with her. Travel light. I mean, that's always advised, isn't it? And the Fool knows how to do that in the tarot, how to take a leap of faith, and is never overburdened with stuff. So maybe they didn't have money, maybe they're coming from quite modest energy. It doesn't have to be the case. Take what resonates. And I feel like, you know, you make a little go a long way with the fish, or you speculate to accumulate because you have to throw the line in. And so there is an unknown quantity about where this will lead, but I still feel that if this person is following Spirit's calling, and I feel that that's lit up within this person, it's gone from a candle to a sun, and again the sun here, all this glowing energy. I feel like whatever they've been through, it was intended for them to unlock the heart space, as often karmic energy is intended to do that, to unlock the heart space, connect us with Spirit and help us navigate our pathway. And I really feel that this person is out of the woods, out of the darkness of this forest here, coming out of the other side. I feel like they're out of the other side, and now there's maybe a little bit of a breather. Maybe what they want to do concerns nourishment, spiritual nourishment, it could be, or food, or, you know, something concerning like nature and natural things. And again, design or artistry potentially is going on here. But they're freeing themselves to their own wild nature, is what I want to say. It feels really lovely. I feel like they're embracing this energy within themselves. And I think that that's all I've got for you, Stack 4. This feels really nice, this energetic. And so that's what's going on behind the scenes with this person. And I really hope it resonated. If it did, please like, subscribe, share, drop me a comment. Lovely to connect with you. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.